To order the Lorain Port Authority Special Board of Directors meeting on Thursday, August 1st of 2019. Start with the roll call, please.
Steve Banzig.
Here.
Bart Cook. Here. Matt Kuzner.
Here.
Brad Mullins.
Here.
Carl Nielsen.
Here.
Neil Summers.
Here.
Allison Gons.
Yes.
7 here.
Would everyone please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. So we have a special meeting this evening, and I'd like to start with our Executive Director to talk about the marina lease.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming. Obviously, as the board's aware, we are ending this year a 32-year development agreement with the Spitzer Great Lakes Group on the Spitzer Marina. As we looked at that property, and obviously we're very grateful for the Spitzer Group. They came in late in 1987 when the project had stumbled a little bit and took over that project and created that, beautiful marina. But here we are 32 years later, and we've seen a lot of improvement down the corridor. We had the stimulus money and redid the brick pavers, new lighting, new parking lot, and we constantly get requests for improvements, and we want to look at our properties and look at everything that we do as a Port Authority and make sure we're giving the best to the public. So as we entered into this year, we decided to go through an expression of interest project, and we took that time and reached out basically nationwide to see who was out there, who had interest, who wanted to come to Lorain and take this marina to the next level. And a lot of times, I like to say a fresh set of eyes is good for a city, it's good for a port, it's good for a project. And in this case, a fresh set of eyes came forward. We vetted all of our proposals. We had some nice proposals, and nothing's ever easy when you've got talented people with ideas. But Oasis is here this evening, and Oasis kind of rises above the competition. And I think that as you learn about Oasis, and they're going to have a crash course in Lorain. They've been in Lorain multiple times already, but they're going to be meet and greet with the public and with SIP holders and with stakeholders and with politicians and everybody, so that we know what's going on. But as the board saw in their packet, we've got our lease agreement, and it's a 10-year lease, and we're very excited to have Oasis here, and we think that we've got some great things to come. Where they stood out, obviously, is they run world-class marinas, and part of our vetting process was after we met groups, we started visiting places, and we snuck out to Baltimore and DC, visited their marinas, and we had a checklist of what they presented to us in their presentation and what we wanted to see. And I will tell you that if I was going to give it a grade, it would be A+ across the board. Everything that they said they do, and they do in an excellent manner. Their customer service is impeccable. Their sites are absolutely beautiful. They're spotless. There's a commitment to excellence, and I think that you're going to see that very quickly as we redevelop this marina. So we're pretty excited, and I think it's a good report for now. I don't want to talk too much because we've got a lot to talk about later, but like I said, they passed every test. The customer service being number one, but I think that when people realize the marketing, the digital presence, the technology presence that they're going to bring to this marina and this harbor as a whole, I think you're going to be very impressed. So I will refer back to our chairman.
I will add one thing. One thing that resonated with me in our conversations with them was that they want to make Lorain a destination. And that's part of what our vision is to make Lorain not a place that you pass through, not a place you just come see concert, but you come and you spend a weekend, spend a week. And so our values and our vision line with theirs. And so that's what impressed me most about them. So we're here today. So we have before us a marina lease. You want to read the resolution?
A resolution to enter into a 10-year lease agreement with Oasis Marina for the operation and management of Lakeside Marina and boat launch facilities.
So board members, we have before you marina lease resolution number 2019-28. Can I get a motion to approve? Motion by Carl, second by Steve.
I would just ask the record reflect that Mr. Zeller is tremendous. Welcome, Jeff.
So So we have a motion to approve by Carl Nielsen, second by Steve Bancek. Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Steve Bancek.
Aye.
Barb Cook. Aye. Matt Kuzner.
Aye.
Brad Mullins.
Aye.
Carl Nielsen.
Aye.
Neil Summers.
Aye.
Jeff Zellers.
Aye.
Al Gantz.
Yes.
Eight ayes.
Congratulations, the Marine is passed.
I have officially opened our FedEx package and signature page since I've been authorized to sign. I think it's probably appropriate that I sign right now in front of everybody.
With witnesses, huh?
Yeah. I usually don't like witnesses. And Dan has already signed. Dan Collins, the CEO, is going to meet you very shortly, so it's official. Welcome to Oasis.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Mr. Summers, second by Mr. Zagans, all in favor? All opposed? Meeting adjourned.
We're going to immediately enter into our press conference, so if you give us 1 second, we want to change our background a little bit and show off who our new partners are.
Good job, Jeff.
This is going to be a very informal meet and greet, so feel free to ask questions, and all those good things. As you can see, if you want the chairs, or just going to stand. We'll invite Dan up, Dan Collins, to join us as CEO of Oasis. As you can see, obviously we're pretty proud, and there's the new name, Oasis Marinas at Port Lorain, and couldn't be more excited about the name, couldn't be more excited about the partnership. And while today is about the future and about what this marina and this port's going to hold, I think that we should take a step back, and I alluded to it in our port meeting, is the Spitzer Group and their investment, and Jack Below, and the gift shop, and everybody. There's been a lot of talented people, a lot of money, and starting with the Spitzer Group, that proposal was going to kind of go by the wayside, and they stepped in, and then they created that marina. They've been great throughout this process. I think they'll be great during the transition. They obviously would have liked to stay in the marina, and it's never easy, but looking at all the factors and everything that Oasis can bring to the table, it made our decision kind of easy, and we're really excited about what the fresh set of eyes and what they can bring to this marina. And I'll let Dan speak after Brad, but I think what you'll see is they're living and breathing marinas every single day, and if you look at their facilities and what they do everywhere else, you're going to see very quickly is why we fell in love with Oasis. So I'll defer to our chairman, Brad Mullins, now.
So it's just an exciting moment. I think it's probably one of the bigger moments in my time here with the Lorain Port Authority. The board is proud to have our staff representatives, Tom Brown and Tiffany and Kelsey and Lynn, have all done just a phenomenal job. I'm sorry. Yvonne, because I meant like that, yeah. So, yeah. And Yvonne have done a phenomenal job. The amount of work that's gone into this, from creating the request for proposal, sending it out, the meetings that we've had, the hours they had to stay late, it was overwhelming. But this is why we're here today. Their hard work. I also have to commend Jeff Zellers, he was our committee chairman. He did a phenomenal job in negotiating the contract and making sure that all the I's were dotted and T's were crossed. So, we also wouldn't be out here without the citizens of Lorain supporting us, coming down here to our concerts, voting for our levies. This allows the port to do what they do. And I think that we've been a bright spot with the hotel, the redevelopment of downtown Lorain, now the changing of the marina operation, take it to a world-class marina. And again, as I said before, Lorain has to be a destination in order for us to continue to grow. And I think these guys are going to help us get here. So with that, thank you.
Thank you. The last thing before I give the floor to Dan is we're passing those out to the board members. As a long-suffering Cleveland Browns fan, our Super Bowl every year was the draft day. On the draft day, you see the Browns year after year, the #1 draft choice is with Cleveland Browns. Well, our draft choice is Oasis, so we take care of our board members with jackets and t-shirts, and they haven't gotten them this year, so each of the board members, I'd like you to pull them out and probably put them on for photo opportunities. With our draft pick, we've chosen Oasis, and that's your jersey to wear. So,
Carl, you want to say something too? Did you?
I just want to say, the committee really, Brad and Jeff did an exemplary job negotiating this. Once again, Tiffany and Ron did a great job.
Wow.
So the new logo and our new partnership, and I think the last thing I'd say before Dan talks, and I keep promising that you're going to get a chance to talk. The other thing we liked about the presentation was that we would create a team here in Lorain with Oasis. The port would be part of that team, and we're taking that very seriously. So when we had the opportunity to get the new logo and work with Oasis to get these into our staff and our board members, we took that opportunity. So I think that goes back to that team's concept, and my little Cleveland Browns analogy was just the draft to it. So without further ado, Dan Collins, CEO of Oasis Marina.
Thank you, appreciate it. So first let me thank Tom, Port Authority, as well as the board here for giving us this opportunity. We've been looking at the Great Lakes market since we started the company. So quick story for us, our backgrounds were in hospitality. We worked in hotels and in parking, and we had when I started, we had 18 staff members in our previous company. When we sold our piece of that company, we had over 14,000. We operated over 700 hotels around the country, about 30 some odd casinos, and a little over 200 healthcare systems. And the thing that drove us, whether it was a casino, a hotel, or a healthcare system, was everything was all about the customer. It's all about driving exceptional customer service. So our bet when we started this business, and I was a boater, and other folks that I tapped to create this company with me were boaters, and we were just frustrated. We were frustrated with the inconsistency that we would see around the marinas that we would go to. We were frustrated that there was no like hotels.com where we could find something. So we said, you know what, we're going to stand up and do something. So we created Oasis Marina, which is based on high-touch customer service and that philosophy that the customer is our most important asset. And then we also created another company called Snag-a-Slip, which is like hotels.com for boaters. So when we talk about our technology component that we're bringing it, and we're also identifying ways that we can continue to enhance it for the boaters that are going to be cruising around the Great Lakes. And in order for us to continue to bring boaters in, we talk about making this a destination. Another focus for us is creating that ecosystem and making sure that boaters understand the ecosystem and what Lorain has to offer them. And we're able to do that through our other company that all work together in this flywheel called Marina Life. So we create custom publications. So if you have shops or businesses around Lorain, we're going to be talking to you because we want to find out what it is. You know, if you've got a restaurant, what's the one thing? If you've got a bar, what's the one drink somebody's got to have? Those are the things that we're going to want to be able to talk about so that we can push it out to our over 500,000 voters that use our digital platform today. So we're looking to continue to grow our footprint around the Great Lakes, but our heart is in Lorain. You only get one chance to be first. That's always a special place in your heart, and you're the first to give us an opportunity in the Great Lakes, and we won't ever forget that. So I appreciate it. Our vision, you know, someone asked me earlier, what's your vision for what we're going to be doing here? The first thing that we're going to be doing is talking to a lot of voters. We're going to find out what it is they like, what don't they like, and then we're going to start prioritizing what we need to do with the projects. But, you know, we got to get them cleaned up, we got to get them serviceable, we got to make sure that they're safe, and then we're going to move on to our bigger plans to help make those locations have great amenities and have things that voters are going to want to do when they're coming into the market. So I appreciate the opportunity. I couldn't do this without my team. So we have team members that are here with us today. So if you have a chance, please say hi to them. We got Margie here in the red. So she's the master of marketing. So anything marketing related really goes through Margie and her team. Eric Bradley in the back right. Eric's our Vice President of Operations. Eric's been in the marina industry for like 70 years. Every time we do a presentation with Eric, I think we add like 5 more years to it. But he's been in the marine industry his whole adult life, and couldn't be happier. He does an amazing job for us. Brian Arnold is business development. Brian is one of the people that when we created the vision for the company, that I said, I don't want to do this without you. So Tom and Brian hit it off. I'm not sure, I know Brian and he's not that funny. So
He was that ride in the Fiat. I jammed Brian in my Fiat on a decent day in April, and we started with the marina, and then by the time he left Lorain, he'd seen about 20 spots, so we had a pretty good couple hours.
And then Kirk Gotro. Kirk's our Chief Operating Officer, and he was with me for many moons, building another business, and just super excited to have him here with us as we continue to do this. So today we have we have 27 locations that we manage around the country. Our predominant print today is Connecticut down to Virginia on the East Coast. So again, this is our first opportunity here in the Great Lakes, and we couldn't be more excited. Thank you.
We have some time for questions this evening. We're also going to convalesce over to Speak of the Devil, our friends Kurt Page are here, and kind of network and socialize there this evening. Tomorrow we'll be meeting with stakeholders, council people, elected officials, those type of people, business owners to see how, current leaseholders to see how everybody can work together and how we can make this thing work. And then Saturday morning, they'll be doing a meet and greet with dock holders at 10 o'clock or 9 a.m. at the pavilions on the top of the hill at Lakeside Landing. So we're trying to get word out to all the slip holders to come down and meet Oasis. Just as Dan said, talk about what do you want, what do you like, what don't you like, and those type of things.
And tomorrow night with Rockin' on the River.
Yes.
Yes.
How can I forget? Tomorrow night at Rock on the River, the port's tent up on the hill. Oasis will be out there holding a meet and greet as well. They brought their whole set that we're going to set up like they do at boat shows. And I think, again, you're going to see really quickly that customer service, amenities, making sure it's a place, it's a destination, you're going to see really quick with this group. And I assure you, in my trip to Baltimore, we did a lot of things, but we were highly, highly impressed with every place we visited that Oasis had touch on. So, and that's a big harbor, and there's a lot of marinas, but I'll tell you that Oasis stood out in the inner harbor in Baltimore. So, again, first in the Great Lakes, I said we're going to shake the Great Lakes. I've sent a lot of slogans their way. We'll see what happens. We couldn't be more excited, as you can tell. So, any questions from anybody? Daryl's never going to forgive you if you don't ask a question. So that was easy. No question?
Hey, Dick, could you elaborate a little bit more on some of the things, like when you got down there, you saw the marina, you walked through, some of the things that maybe you're thinking about doing in the near future?
So, the first things that come to mind are, and look, this happens anytime somebody's in a location for an extended period of time. It's kind of like seeing the trees through the forest concept. There's some low-hanging fruit that we see. So, when it's cleaning up the buildings, painting the buildings, I was shocked that there weren't any life throw rings or ladders. Or the ladders were pretty good distances where there's a standard that they have to be on. So first is safety. Gangplanks will be repairing all the gangplanks or refreshing all of them. We'll be looking at things for boaters to do. So we'll be looking at doing sand volleyball pits. We'll be looking at different ideas out there how to activate the rest of the waterfront. That's an enormous piece of property. And I just feel like there's a lot that we can do with it to activate it and get more activities that would be happening down there. There's a boaters lounge area on that first floor that I would never go in. So we're going to go in, we're going to gut that and get that refreshed for the start of the next season. Really for us, because we're starting January 1st, that's not a lot of time to do how much work that we'd like to get done. So it's going to be, we're going to put on our track shoes, and we're going to get through those first couple of months until boats start splashing, and then our focus will turn to serving the boaters for the rest of the season. And then the next season, as we're coming out, we're going to put our track shoes on and we're going to get after it again. But there's there's low-hanging fruit. I mean, you will see a visible difference in the project. In the spring when you come back, if you come back at the end of summer, you're going to see more improvements. When you go back in the fall, you're going to see them getting after it again. When you come back the next spring, you know, that's what we are as an organization. We're really focused on that incremental improvement. So big splashes can only happen so long. Incremental improvement is really what we want. In addition, some of the docks, you know, we need to take a look at the flotation devices that are on them. It looks like some of the floats may need to be repaired, whether we got to put bladders under them, etc. So we don't want to bore you with all the details, but they'll be working hard.
You also mentioned a lot about the personnel, having people on the docks.
Yes.
Being very attentive compared to, you know, what it's like.
We've, you know, when we started in Baltimore, one of the groups that backed us, their mission is to create jobs. And we told them that we would create jobs, and they believed us, so they gave us a chance. There was a marina that was already there. They had 11 staff members, or I think it was 12 staff members. We went in and immediately over doubled the staff that was at the property. They were also doing some other things that were ancillary that we ended up outsourcing or doing away with because they didn't make sense. And what we say to many marinas when we go in is, this is a lease, but even when we do management agreements, your payroll number is not going to drop. If anything, it's going to go up. But our bet is by giving better service, people are willing to come in. So if you're at 70% occupancy and we can get occupancy to 90%, that's great for all of us. So yes, you'll see staffing levels increase.
It's also going to put a lot of people in the area to work in our immediate area as far as on the docks there. So that'll be nice for our young people.
Absolutely, and we were talking earlier today, one of the interns today was her last day, and she's getting ready to go move on to her next gig. So we were talking about interns here, and someone had commented, you know, down on the docks, and I said, down on the docks, we have a magazine, we have a tech company, and we have our marina management company. So as we look for folks here, we're going to be looking for folks for all three of our brands because we have, you know, technology. You don't have to be in an office. You know, the folks that are writing articles in our magazine, they're not in our office. So we're excited and looking forward to seeing how we can expand our footprint. And again, the benefit is finding talented, great people and giving them a place to go.
And that magazine will be specific to this, or is it just one general magazine for all the different locations?
So we do a national magazine for Marina Life, but we will also do a custom publication here for Port Lorain. And that's what we were talking about when we would come around and see the local shop owners and other folks that have venues that they want to promote, because that's how we really unlock the value of the ecosystem. Because for us, it's not about getting you know, Joe or Jane boater from this marina to leave that marina and come here, and it just becomes this race to zero, turning it all into a commodity. We look at it as if we can unlock the ecosystem here and get people out on the water that maybe don't have a boat today, that we can increase the population of boats that are out there, and it makes the pie bigger rather than us fighting over this small pie. And that model has worked in other markets that we've been in. You can see the activation happen, and people coming in saying, this is my first boat. Oh, you know what, I didn't have a boat, my friend had a boat, now I bought a boat, now I belong to Freedom Boat Club, now I belong to Carefree Boat Club. You know, as we look at people to partner with, we're going to be looking for folks that are going to help that life cycle of the boater. How do we get people on the water? And we're going to want to put activities and events at our locations that help activate that waterfront.
I think one of the first things you're going to notice is down there at the marina is employees. Employees working, employees caring for the site, employees picking up trash, emptying trash, taking care of the boaters. And you're going to be able to find those employees really quickly because they're going to look just like Dan. They're just like the rest of the team because that's their uniform. So they have uniformed employees that are, when we walked up to the dock in Baltimore, the first thing we saw was two young men with big smiles on their face getting ready to work. The second dock we went to, there was a young man, he was emptying trash cans. In third place, and so on. So it's going to be a little change, I think, where You know, sometimes you go down to the marina now and like, it's hard to find people. You're gonna find people. We went to one place, one of their facilities in Annapolis, and there wasn't one boat on the dock, not one. There was 2 employees there, and they were identified, they were in uniform, and they were ready to go. And we asked them about that, like, geez, why don't you send a couple guys home or send one guy home? And the answer is pretty simple. They have to make sure that customer service is there on that day, and they have to make sure the customer service is in the day where they're completely crazy and they got 200 boats for trying to pull in that harbor. So that was one of the things that we thought was an A+ when we visited the sites as well. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, we just really took the 5-diamond hotel service standards that we had in our previous life and redeployed them in the marina space. So, you know, we don't have bellmen that are running people up to rooms, but we certainly should have marina service associates that are assisting with, you know, luggage carts, helping people get their things out of their vehicles down to their boats, and vice versa. When a boat's coming in, anybody here that's ever had to operate a boat by yourself, sometimes it can be a little nerve-wracking coming into the dock. So our expectation is we have folks there to help you. You know, if you need a bag of ice, you can call and you can text. There's going to be multiple ways to get us, and they're going to bring it to you. You don't have to go get it. You know, those are simple, low-hanging fruit things that boaters really enjoy. You know, when you're at the fueling station, are there grab-and-go items for you from a retail standpoint at the fueling station? You're there. I mean, there are certain things that every boater has to buy almost every time they get fuel. We're going to have those there and have them available, and we're also going to have other things available too that you may or may not want to buy.
Questions? Chronicle, come on.
Could you comment how you're going to enhance security at that marina?
Until we have to, not yet, because we're not here. I mean, once we're here, we'll do an analysis of what it looks like.
Yeah, there's been a significant amount of burglaries in the boats down there.
Mm-hmm. Well, we would take a look whether it's security cameras, ensuring that we have a presence going around. Sometimes it's as simple as installing plexiglass on the fencing so that people can't get their fingers through it and walk around the fence and climb down on the other side and get access to boats. I think what will happen, and what happened with us at Inner Harbor, Marina, I'll use it as an example in Baltimore, is just having our presence there. When these gentlemen talk about, you'll see folks down on the docks. They're going to be, you know, I say it's not challenging from a security standpoint, but they're going to be engaging guests. They're going to know who's supposed to be there, and they're going to ask folks too, you know, can I help you? You know, which boat are you going to? You know, do they know you're coming? You know, all those types of things. So I don't have a full solution for you now because we don't know what the issue is, but I can only talk about what we've done at, like at Inner Harbor, which is the only other property that we had that had an issue prior to us coming that went away once we had staff there. I remember talking to one of the super yacht folks down there with the big boats, and he said, you know, last summer I had 6 boats. Before you guys started, I had 6 bikes stolen, and so far this summer we've been good. It really has to do with just being present, being available, being out there. People appreciate it. You know, people like to see a smiling face walking by and giving them the greeting of the day or the salutation of the hour. Good question. Any other questions?
Well, thank you everybody for coming again. Congratulations.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
Appreciate it. I'm so happy to have you here. And we'll be going to Speaker Bell. Thank you to our board for your patience and for your availability this evening as well. And then concert tomorrow night.